Logit function. What is a logit function? Logit function maps probabilities to a continuous range of values. So what does it mean when I say I want to map probabilities to a continuous range of real values? That is, my probabilities are generally in the range between 0 and 1. So I have values in between 0 and 1. This I want to map to minus infinity to infinity. That is the set of all real numbers. This is where I use logit function. So if you remember 2 lectures back or something, we had seen something very similar to this. Another function which did something very similar to this. What is that? That's the sigmoid function. What did sigmoid function do? We learned that sigmoid function takes the values in the range minus infinity to infinity and it will map it to 0 and the value between 0 and 1. So whatever sigmoid function used to do, logit function is doing the exact opposite. That is, it is taking from 0 to 1, that is, it is taking probabilities and it is mapping to real valued line. Sigmoid function used to get it into the probabilities range. From the real line, it used to bring up probabilities. So logit function is the inverse of sigmoid function. The sigmoid function, it used to provide you probabilities, and the logit function is taking probabilities and mapping it to real numbers. Let us now understand what is logit and where this term comes from. So logit is the logarithm of the odds of probability. What does it mean when I say the odds of probability? Odds of probability means the ratio of the probability of the event occurring to that of the event not occurring. This is what I call as odds of probability. So let us mathematically see what are odds of probability. Odds. What can be odds? Let us say there is some event and let us say the probability of this event occurring is P. Okay. So this event occurs with a probability P. What can be the odds of this event occurring? It can be P, which is the probability of the event occurring, divided by the probability of the event not occurring. If it occurs with a probability P, then what is the probability of the event not occurring? It will be 1 minus P, right? So it will be P by 1 minus P. That is the probability of the event occurring divided by the probability of the event not occurring. This is what you call as odds. So what is a logit function? It is a logarithm of odds. So how do you take logarithm of odds? So it will be log of P by 1 minus P. This is your logit function. Your logit function is log P by 1 minus P. So let us understand how this maps from 0, 1 to minus infinity to infinity. Okay. So try to give the value 0 to probability. Let us say some event is there which is occurring with a probability 0. So what will you get here? It will be log of 0 by 1, that is log 0. So here we are taking natural logarithm. What is log 0? So log 0, you know, it is undefined. But what we can do is we can understand what is limit x tends to 0 plus. That is, from the positive side, if you approach 0, then what is the value of log x? Okay, log x. So you're doing limit x tends to 0 plus log x. What will this be? So in log x, if you see log x values, if this is 0, as you approach 0, the value will go more and more and more negative. But it is not possible to reach the value 0. Why is it not possible to reach value 0? Because let us say I am taking natural logarithm, that is log x to the base e. Okay. If there should be a value for which log x were x is 0, if this is possible, then what should happen? There should be some particular value for which e power x should give you 0, right? But the exponent can never be 0. So for that reason, log 0 is undefined. But if you approach towards 0 from the positive side, that is from the positive side, if you approach towards 0, you will see that the value of log x, it goes very large in the negative side. That is, it approaches infinity. So this you can call as minus infinity. Log 0 is not defined, But if you see the values which are very close to 0, if you are approaching from the positive side, then the value of log x will be approaching minus infinity. So the log 0, you can somewhere imagine it as somewhere near to minus infinity, a very large negative number. Okay. Otherwise, exact value of log 0 is undefined. At the same time, if you try, this is a logit function, log of p by 1 minus p. If you give the value p is equal to 1, what will happen? It will be log of 1 divided by 0. That will be log infinity. So what is log infinity? Again, if you do limit x tends to infinity log x. If you do this, you will get infinity. So why is it? Because if you in the log x line, log x graph, if you take very large values of x, you will see the value of log x also increases. It keeps increasing and increasing. So I'm considering natural logarithm here. So if the base is less than 1, then the case is different. If the base is greater than 1, if natural logarithm, then the base is e. So in natural logarithm, as the value of log approaches infinity, the log x value will also go to infinity. So you can consider that as the value of p goes from 0 to 1, the value of log p by 1 minus p, it goes from minus infinity to infinity. Okay. So this is how the logit function can map any probability that is in the range 0 to 1 to the set of all real numbers in the range minus infinity to infinity. So where do you use this logit? So one application is, let us say you have some function or something from which you are obtaining the logits. So you know the logit is in the range minus infinity to infinity. If you apply the sigmoid function on the logit, you can directly get probabilities. So this is one place where you make use of the logits. Okay.